Crisis and the quiet return of big government to Indian aviation. For nearly 2 decades, Indian civil aviation stood as a rare, almost inconvenient truth for the Indian state. Proof that the private sector, left largely alone, could outperform government control, build scale, and deliver control credibility. IndiGo Airlines was the crown jewel of that reality, efficient, profitable, dominant, and distinctly ungovernmental. What unfolded in recent weeks was not merely an airline operational failure or a customer service crisis, it was something far more consequential. The return of the Indian state assertive, moralising, and interventionist into the heart of the one of the post-reform India's most celebrated private sector success story, and that arguably is Indigo's real transgression. When Indigo's operational breakdown, flight cancellation, crew shortages, exhausted pilots, stranded passengers began spiraling into public outrage, three reactions emerged almost instantly. First, disbelief at the airline leadership. How could a company so operationally disciplined, so meticulously scaled, allow such a systematic collapse and then retreat into near silence as public anger mounted? Second, incredulity at the timing and audacity challenging the government of India, particularly the Modi administration, during a sensitive geopolitical moment with global leaders in town and holiday travel surging, was either reckless or profoundly naive. In contemporary India, public defiance of state authority rarely ends well. Third, the deeper ideological discomfort. For decades, advocates of liberalization had argued that aviation proved the state's irrelevance. Yet here was the government once again cast as rescuer in chief, cleaning up after the supposedly arrogant anti customer private monopoly. For believers in minimum government, this reversal felt like a historical regression. To understand the speed and intensity of government's re entry, one must grasp what it had lost. As private airline expanded, legacy carriers like Indian Airline and Air India collapsed under inefficiency and scandal. Aircraft purchases, hiring spears, procurement kickbacks, once fertile ground of bureaucratic influence, vanished. Airports too slipped into private hands, unlike telecom, where spectrum auction and state owned BSNL preserved residual power. Civil aviation offered the government little leverage. Regulatory action followed swiftly by the duty hour rule, drafted but unenforced for nearly 2 years, were suddenly withdrawn, revised, and weaponized. Flight capacity was capped until early 2026. The idea of breaking aviation concentration entered public discourse, with talk of preferring multiple smaller airlines over one dominant carrier. The irony was hard to miss. Just as Indian aviation was poised for exponential growth, with thousands of aircraft on order and demand barely scratched, the state was discussing fragmentation, not scale.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.